Hi and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing Extra podcast. We've got a North London Derby aftermath special, right, for you today. Brought to you today by the guys from Manscaped, DT. I've still got this box for you. You keep moaning, oh, where's my box? Where's my box? Right, we've got this one for you with all the goodies inside of it. We've got, of course, the lawnmower. You know why they call it the lawnmower? I'll give you the description that they've given to me right here. It is used to protect your family jewels and has been patented to be with skin-safe technology to ensure that you'll be protected from any rash tackles while shaving. The lawnmower also lasts 90 minutes on a single charge, which is 35 minutes more than Bale lasted on the pitch yesterday.
Hey, it's also longer than Eric Lamela lasted as well.
Okay, and we've also got for you, right, I've got another bit for you. This is the ball deodorant, yeah? Which comes in handy. The ball deodorant is exactly what it sounds like. It keeps your balls nice and fresh throughout the day, and it's something that you can't live without once you start using. Perfect for you. Not that I wouldn't know what's going on down there with you. And we've also got, these are pretty cool actually, the Manscaped boxers. They're some of the most comfortable boxers around. Insert your personal assets into here. Hopefully they'll fit for you. You know what I mean? Right, so I've got one of these for you, yeah? I've got one of these for you if you want them. You keep going on. Every time you come in, you forget to take it. This one's for you.
No, I don't forget to take it. Ty needs it.
There's two of them there. There's one for Ty, there's one for you, right? Now, for anybody else out there, if you want to get the perfect package, right, which this is, and it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. There's a 20% discount off with free shipping. Just use the code AGB, all right? Use the code AGB at manscaped.com. I'm going to put a link in the description and you can get yourself one of those. And thanks to the guys from Manscaped. They also sponsored the North London Derby yesterday. And I enjoyed it, DT. I enjoyed the performance of Arsenal because you know what? Despite Lamela scoring probably the goal of the season, right? It can't be overshadow the fact that we played brilliantly. We dominated the game from start to almost finish. I think like in the last 10 minutes they came on strong. They had to go for it.
Yeah.
And they threw the kitchen sink at it and they got a couple of set pieces. It's really from set pieces, remember?
Yeah.
They did from open play. Even with them throwing the kitchen sink, they didn't really get any joy. It was just from a couple of set pieces. But I thought it was a fabulous performance by Arsenal. What did you make of it?
Yeah. Going to initially the Lamela goal, the best bit about that is that Spurs fans will not even be able to bring up that goal to try and banter us. Because the moment they mention it, we'll just mention, yeah, but you lost the game. Lamela got sent off.
That's
so
what I was saying that to one of my mates this morning, right? He's a Tottenham mate, right? And I was saying, if you would have won that game, that goal would be like, a bit like, remember back in the day that Gaza goal?
Gaza. Yeah.
We would never, ever have heard the end of that goal. But like you said, it's been erased. He went from Rabona to Bonehead. You know what I mean? I mean, to get sent off. He was on something, man. I think he needs to be drug tested after the game because he earlier on, he kicked out at somebody. He just seemed to be so hyped up. I'm like...
I think it was, you know what? It was the perfect game for Manscaped to be sponsoring, you know, when so many boners were involved in the game.
All right, steady on now. We don't want to get cancelled. Oh,
sorry.
You couldn't resist it, could you? Bloody hell.
I had that one lined up for the last minute, and I was like, go on, give me my minute. I got to drop that one in there.
Oh.
Hey, listen. Come on, man. I'm sure Manscaped will be able to do a little, you know, mixing with the words and have themselves a new slogan. You know, maybe get Eric Lamela in to actually do the Manscaped advertisements. I don't know, but it's just, look, listen, I'm just so happy with the performance. And I'm like, I've tried explaining to people, this ain't about Arsenal moving from 10th to 10th. It's not about that. We know about our situation in the league and the problems, but if you don't know what it's like to win a local derby and what these games mean, then just shut up. Don't talk about what you don't know. It's not about where we are in the league or anything like that. It's about shutting up them lot down the road, because all they do is talk. And they went into this game, 5 games on the bounce, they're winning. And, you know, they're playing against teams that they should be beating and being able to play expansive football against. And we're hearing about how Bale's back and Son's going to do this and Kane's going to do that. And all week we were doing preview shows and we were just getting like humiliated from some of the stuff that were being said to us. And we were just like, all right, cool. We'll wait till Sunday and we'll see what happens, you know? And the way we responded and the way that we played, they were so level-headed. They were so like focused on the game plan. Even when we went 1-0 down, nothing changed. We didn't deviate from the plan. And everybody to a man played their part in that game. And, you know, Mikel spoke about that final 10 minutes. And he said that, you know, now we've won the game, we could look at that and say, you know what, that was a good 10 minutes actually, because it will stand us in good stead moving forward as what to do and what not to do when you're trying to see out a game. I think that if Spurs would have actually stayed 11v11, they probably wouldn't have had that many chances as they did. And like you said, they were from free kicks. We panicked. We were, you know, rushing into the tackle to try and win the ball. And it's one of those things, man. But listen, we got over the line and deservedly so. That would have been an absolute catastrophe if Spurs would have managed something from that game. Yeah, absolutely.
No, 100% we deserved. Even talking to Spurs fans today, they've just been like, yeah, you know what, you lot deserved, you know, begrudgingly, obviously, you lot deserved to win. Actually, there's one person that I've never seen somebody as salty as that in my life, and that was Jermaine Genius. I don't know if you saw him on Match of the Day 2 last night. Oh, my God, man. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, he was so salty. I mean, all right, let's first of all talk about one of the things that he was really moaning about was the penalty.
What's he moaning for?
I thought that was a penalty. I've still watched it back since those guys have said.
Robbie.
All right, let me, you know, this is how I look at it as well, right? Not one of Jermaine Genius, none of them are moaning about, you know, the free kick that they got near the end where Harry Kane hit the post. For me, look at that. He falls over. There's no contact on him, nothing. He can feel that the player's coming in from behind and he falls over and completely buys that, right? Mm-hmm. There's no mention of Harry Kane possibly should have been red carded for an elbow on Gabriel. None of that's mentioned. But with the penalty, right, he's moaning about that. Now, to me, I thought Davinson Sanchez was very, very rash in his decision-making. He didn't need to do that. He went in too rash. And the fact that the ball's gone away from, from Lacazette, to me, it doesn't, even on the pitch, the ball can go away from him. If you come through the player, it's still a foul, isn't it? There's still contact. This word contact, is there not contact there?
Look,
there's
Robbie,
more contact there than what David Luiz made on, for that against Wolves, wasn't it?
You know the best bit, the best way of summing this up and how you know it was a penalty? Peter Walton said it was a penalty. That's how you know it's a penalty.
Mind you, that's no guarantee it's a penalty.
No. Hey, listen, when it comes to Peter Walton and Arsenal, it's a guarantee because he will do anything to say, no. But he explained it. And this is something that I think a lot of people are actually forgetting. Lacazette miscued the shot, but the ball had actually not gone out of play. So the ball's still active. Sanchez has come through and he's wiped him out. If Lacazette would have got a shot, he would have still wiped him out. I don't know what you're moaning for. Honestly, Jermaine Genius, man. So bitter. Honest
Bitter.
to God. That guy,
Bitter.
listen, get off Match of the Day, go and get a job at John Smith's because you're that bitter. Serious to God. Get out of here. Do you know? And
I was like, I'll tell you. And then they asked him about the tactics. Whose fault was the tactics? Because, you know, he himself, to be fair to him, he admitted that Tottenham were terrible, right? And then he was asked, well, whose fault is it for those tactics? And he goes, oh, I don't know if it's the Mourinho, if it's the players. It's Mourinho. It's Mourinho's brand of football. Come on. You know, I mean, they came there. They should be on the front foot. They should be on form. But I said it. I was in a couple of these podcasts with some of these Tottenham guys last week. They were all lauding it up. And I was saying, listen, are you going to come to the Emirates and play like how you played at home, remember, against Burnley and at home against Palace? Or are you going to revert to any time you come up against the better teams, like when they played Liverpool the other day, that you don't go for it? They didn't go for it in that game either. And I'm like, it's almost like he's frightened to try and impose his style of football upon better teams. And I told him, I said, this is not the same Arsenal that you played earlier on in the season. This is an Arsenal team that is attacking teams now. We found a way to attack teams. This Arsenal team is better in defense. We know we've made stupid mistakes, but we don't concede a lot of goals. And I just felt that his tactics, Mourinho, I mean, when they scored that goal in the first half, that was so much against the run of play. I think we had 13 shots to their 1 in the first half. So it was,
mate. I don't know what more I can actually add on that situation, because it's like you said it and summed it up perfectly. It's Mourinho's tactics. It was the way they set them up. Within 2 minutes, I realised they weren't pressing us from the front. That's not the players that have decided within 60 seconds of the game started, yeah, you know what, let's not carry out the instructions that the manager wants us to do. That is the manager's instructions. And they were following the manager's instructions, which were to sit and try and count us on the counter-attack. If you look at Heung-min Son's injury, how did he get injured? Because they were trying to quick ball straight over the top, through the middle, counter-attack, and he tried running onto it too long, pulled his hamstring. So we know what the way they were going to set up. And listen, at the end of the day, even the most hard-faced Tottenham fans know that we were the better team by a million miles. I see you do a podcast this week with 3 other Spurs fans.
Yeah.
The amount of energy that them man's had. I'm like, where are you lot coming from? Most of you are like too young to have even seen your team win a trophy. And you're trying to talk about how you're this big club and everything else. And I'm like, where are you getting this energy from? Where? Even though we've had this like awful period over the last few years where we've not been up to the standards that we've been used to, we still win trophies. And Spurs are in their golden generation and they win nothing. That's why they went and celebrated the Audi Cup as though it was a major trophy. The Audi Cup. Go and have a look at Arsenal winning the same Audi Cup. And they were all looking at each other like, who wants to lift it? I don't. No, you do it. You do it. No, you've won. You do it. And I think it was Petr Cech at the time that was there like, yeah, all right, see ya. Do you know what I mean? But then, they're doing that. Hey, it's the Audi Cup. Are you mad? That's how you know how deprived them mans are. Come on, mate. Seriously, stop all this talk, man, about North London's white and all this and that. It's not white. The only white in North London are these parts of our kit. That's it. There ain't nothing. Tottenham, behave yourself, man. I was having a look at the trophies and everything because they say about, you know, all these different things that define greatness. Ultimately, what defines greatness is trophies because, you know, that's what everybody wants to achieve. Statistically, factually, we are the 3rd biggest club in England behind Liverpool and Manchester United. Facts. People sit there and say about community shields and everything else. And I looked at it and I went, all right, cool. Let's take away community shields. Let's just, you know, look at them as what they are. Arsenal have still won 31 major trophies. 31 when you take away the Community Shield. Spurs have won 17. 17! And you want to try and talk to us. We've won as many league titles in their ground as they have in their history. Honestly, my kids, my oldest boy, right, Kieran, he has seen the league title won at White Hart Lane. Find me a Spurs fan that can say the same. He's an Arsenal fan. You know what I mean? Please, someone enlighten me where this energy comes from. What? Because you finished above us for a few years. Try finishing above us for over 21 years. Try doing those things that I've just explained, where you win league titles in your stadium. Come to the Emirates twice and win the league at the Emirates twice. I beg you do it. Go and try and win another FA Cup. It's been over 25 years since you last won one. What? Where is this energy? Do you know what I mean? You name me one Tottenham fan that can watch a video of their league title, their last league title in colour. That's the thing. You know, you get these special editors now that can turn black and white films into colour. Do you know what I mean? That's what Expressions and all the rest of them Tottenham fans are doing. Please, my G, listen, see them way there, yeah? Go and put this in colour, yeah? So I can tell the man them that I've seen us win the league in colour, my G. You know they went them way there, fam. You know what I mean? Hey, and listen, Expressions, don't think I've forgotten about my apology, yeah? Don't think I haven't remembered it. What did you say when you tried referring me as Sean Dyche? What was it you said? All right, I'll tell you what, yeah? If you beat us on Sunday, I'm going to issue a full apology. Yeah? All right, I want to see this full apology on your show with Robbie. I'll be sitting there and waiting. Actually, when are you filming it? I'm coming down to have a little watch as well. Because I want to be there when I see that apology. I want to see the sincerity in his eyes. Come on. Seriously, take this energy away from me, man. Do you know what I mean? Take it away. There's only one club in North London, and it's only one colour, and that is red. End of.
And you know what? There was a lot of fans who it divided a bit, sort of divided a bit of opinion, where you've got fans saying that, you know what, we should have got Mourinho. We should have had Mourinho in. Arteta's not ready for a job like Arsenal and that. But Arteta, his tactics yesterday were much better than Mourinho's, much braver, much more dynamic. And you got to say, the more and more you look at it, you're like, thank God we got Arteta instead of possibly getting a Mourinho. He's won a trophy, like you said, in his first season. And really and truly, when you look at this season, even though we're having a poor season in the league, there's not a lot of difference between us and Tottenham in the league.
No.
We're both still in the Europa League. And in the time that he's been in there, he's been in there in a shorter period of time than Mourinho, and he's won a trophy.
Robbie, I can see an identity with this club. And I was speaking about this yesterday, that there's a lot more things going on behind the scenes that people don't take into consideration. A lot of people are so single-minded and just look at the league position. Let me get it straight, and I've said it 100 times. The league position's not acceptable. We don't like being where we are. We know it's not good enough. Mikel Arteta himself has came out and said it's simply not good enough. But the latter half of this season, in comparison to the first half of the season, is simply defined about one position on the pitch, and that is a creative attacking midfielder. All right? We've gone from having no one to having two. People that don't understand what's going on behind the scenes at the club, don't tell me, why didn't you play Emil Smith-Rowe earlier? Well, for the starter, he was injured at the start of the season. And he'd just come back from his loan spell at Huddersfield and everything else. The Mesut Ozil situation, we've made that very clear. Go and have a look at his performances since he's moved to Fenerbahce, and you can see that he wouldn't have been doing nothing with us anyway. All right? That boat had sailed a long time ago. Mikel Arteta wanted that creative midfielder. It wasn't delivered. He wasn't given it. He was given a centre-back in Gabriel. He was given a central midfielder, that powerful, imposing person in Thomas Partey. But he needed that creative midfielder, that Hossim Aouar, the name that was being mentioned more than anything. Didn't get it. Go and have a look at the comparisons in our seasons from when we didn't have one to now we've got two. You know, we go some matches we can play one of them. Yesterday, we played two of them. You know, there's so many options. We've got an identity, the way that we're playing. There's creativity. What's missing from us right now is the cutting edge in front of goal, that clinical finishing. Because if we would have had some clinical finishing since the turn of the year, and I can think of Wolves, Burnley, you know, Crystal Palace at home, these type of games, we'd be in contention for a top 4 place right now. Facts. Those points alone are what's stopping us from being, you know, in contention. So when I look at the bigger picture and what we've been through this year, can I see, you know, the pathway of where we want to go? Yes, I can, because what I see with this team is a very young, vibrant, you know, energetic, like the team, you could see what we're trying to build, the core of it. Whereas before we had a couple of youngsters and everybody was old. But now there's a few older ones, which you need within squads, but there's so much young talent being played. And it's what you define by young as well. When you look at Gabriel, his performance against Spurs, he's 23. 23. Kieran Tierney, 23. You know, there's so much youth within that team.
Profile. And another player who was brilliant yesterday is Odegaard. 2 goals in 2 games. Captain of Norway made on Friday. It would be a great coup if we could keep hold of him in the summer. The way he's playing, he looks like he's really at home at Arsenal. Really? It's going to be really interesting to see if they can get that deal done. I feel there is a chance. I know Madrid have been saying all along that they want him back at the end. But I seriously feel that if Arsenal go and put the money on the table, I think we can get that deal done. He's a quality player. And like you said, again, another player who's very young. So you buy a player like that, and that's your guy for the next 5 years plus. Easy. You know?
And you also know that the thing about this is that, and I'm not trying to sell players on, but when you load your squad up with so much talent, you end up having, you know, a real big asset. So what it basically says is that, you know, like Saka, for example, I've seen all the statistics over the last couple of weeks. If a team come in for Bukayo Saka right now, you have to, without fail, be paying over £100 million. When you look at the size of the contract he has left, his age, the ceiling, you name it, over 100 million without fail. So as a club, we know we're going to have players there that if you do want him, you've got to pay some serious amount of money.
Which is how it should always have been like that. And this is the problem that we've been suffering from the last few years, that you know, we can't get rid of players. And even when we do go, we don't get nothing for them. But now we've got a lot of players that are coming through. Like you said, you named out some of those ages. They're the right age. They're the right profile. They're young. They're hungry. Odegaard's pressing yesterday was unbelievable. That's what you need. That's what you need from these players, right? And it was great to see. I want to ask you about something that obviously happened before the game, which was the Aubameyang thing. Aubameyang being left out of the team on disciplinary reasons. We're not really talking about it too much today because we won. Had we lost the game, it would have been a huge talking point. It's a very brave decision for Mikel Arteta to make. Was he right?
Yep, 100%. When you hear what the reasoning behind it was, Mikel Arteta was thinking about the future of Arsenal Football Club when he made that decision. In the long term, that's what he was doing. Also, there's a lot of young players in that team, as we've already explained, the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, etc. They have to realise that there's rules and that there's certain things you cannot get away with. What you don't want is for a young boy to be looking and going, he gets away with it, I'll be able to get away with that. All right. You want them young boys to be looking and go, boy, if that's just happened to our captain, our highest paid earner, the goal scorer, boy, look what could happen to me. It's all well and good, you know, using the iron fist, shall we say, against players like Guendouzi, who's young and, you can kind of just say, all right, there's the reasons. He hasn't apologized, this, that. But when you do it to a senior player of the stature of Aubameyang in a game of this magnitude, you know, this was not just any game. This was the North London derby.
Yeah,
and I think that it sends such a big message out. And a lot of people have said, you know, when Willian went across to Dubai during the lockdown and everything, I've heard that he was punished. It was the first time he'd ever did something. So the club punished him. They gave him a fine and everything else. And he's not stepped out of line since. He's done everything that's been asked of him. Aubameyang, apparently it's not the first time with Aubameyang. Yeah. So it's got to a point where it's like yellow cards. You know, the totting up process. Referees go 1, 2, right, you've had 2, that's your third, no more now, right? So it's happened. And Arteta's obviously looked at it and said, I put a rule in place. They breached it. I now have to come down and, you know, make sure that rule is enforced.
For him to drop him in a North London derby, that shows a lot of that shows
balls.
Yeah, and
send Mikel some Manscaped.
It's very interesting what he said after the game, which I liked. He said, I got his quote here. He says, he's speaking to Sky Sports, and he says, "We have a way of living together. We have to respect each other. But he's an incredible guy. He's our captain. He's one of our most important players in the team. But these things happen, and we move on." And I like that. I like the fact that he still acknowledges he's a captain, incredible guy. We move on. But, like you said, message sent to every player. If Aubameyang can get dropped for a North London derby, if you're a young player, maybe you're a Eddie Nketiah coming up through the ranks or any of those players, and you start, you know, behaving badly, you're going to be, you ain't going to play. He's put his foot down now a lot. He's put his foot down with Ozil. He's put his foot down with Socrates. He's put his foot down with Guendouzi. He's put his foot down now with Aubameyang. He's not messing about.
No,
he's on a mission. He's got, you know, he's clearly a very driven guy. He's made a lot of mistakes, but I like what I see, like you said, with the pattern of play. He's got a vision for the club. And this is why I feel that this guy deserves time. Right? You don't get time just off of a 1 North London derby win, but I want to see what he can do next season, like you said, with a summer. And I really hope that this board give him some backing at the end of the season, right? Get him, because I don't think there's loads of players that are needed, but I think a few. It's all about quality now. It's all about quality. Adding the quality in those right areas.
Do you know what it is as well, Robbie? What's the biggest thing is that we've got rid of most of the deadwood that we wanted to already. So we're not going to spend all summer trying to shift anymore. We're not going to be trying to like sort all that side of things, and it's going to hinder us moving forward. I feel that, you know, if Martin Odegaard continues the way he is and we can sign him permanently, then that's a deal that could get done quite quickly because you've already got one foot in the door, shall we say. I think the right back situation needs to be addressed. I think Hector Bellerin will probably go. And I think that they need to bring the new player in. And from what we're hearing, I do think it could well be Tariq Lamptey. And that would be amazing if we
even
could
get
get
linked to that Hakimi as well.
Hakimi, but you know what the thing is,
It'd
as
be
well,
very expensive, but Inter Milan are very.
You know what?
They have financial problems.
The thing is, the thing is with Hakimi though, he's more of a wing back than a full back. So I don't know how much truth is actually in that. Unbelievable player, but more as a wing back than a full back. And you know, if Brighton can get relegated, then it leaves the door open. You know, even more so go after him and go after someone like Yves Bissouma, because if we signed him as well, and we said this, so we need a backup left back as well. We know that. So yeah, there's not many things. I still feel that Martinelli's going to be converted into the striker. I think people need to, you know, have a bit of patience with him. He's 19 years old. I
really hope we see something of Martinelli on Thursday.
Yeah, well, listen,
you know, even off the bench.
Yeah, it's going to, look, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. And I tried explaining this to, you know, everybody when I was talking before the game with you yesterday. And I said that if you only go back a few months ago to the FA Cup campaign, semi-final against Manchester City, Bukayo Saka was left out of the side for Ainsley Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side. And everyone was like, what? Then when it came to the final, Ainsley had played that well that he got the start ahead of Saka in the FA Cup final, and Saka didn't even come off the bench. Now go and have a look, fast forward 6-7 months or so, look at Saka. Go and look at where he's progressed to. And this is what you've got to understand. Trust the manager in what he's doing and why he makes the decisions he's making. Because he's doing it because he believes it's the right thing to do. You know, over the last few weeks, I've seen him take Emil Smith-Rowe out of the firing line a little bit. He's been on the bench. He got rested last Thursday because they weren't going to risk bringing him back. Do you see how fresh and rejuvenated he looked in that game against Spurs? So it's about doing it right at the right times. And so far, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with our league position. Don't get me wrong. But I understand I understand you've got to go through this. We have to go through this pain to get to where we ultimately want to go. And, you know, I can see the bigger picture. I can see the big project. And what ultimately we all want to see now is the manager backed, like properly in the summer. And the reason why I say that is because some people have said to me yesterday, they were like, didn't Arteta get backed in, you know, the summer just gone? And I said, no. I said, yeah, well, yes and no. I said, we got a Gabriel, we got a Thomas Partey, but we didn't get a Hossim Aouar. There was one place missing. So what we need
all
this
in
year,
one window either. You can't do
it. No, you can't, Robbie. But what I want to see this summer is if there's the opportunity to sign Odegaard and Arteta says, I want him, go get it done, right? If he says, this is the right back I want, go get it done. If he looks at, you know, another centre-back or a centre midfielder or whatever it is, basically, if Mikel Arteta's got a shopping list of 3 players, go get the 3 players he wants. Yeah, go and get it done. You'll have a plan A and a plan B for each position. Go and get in one of those plans for each of the position he wants. And then, and I think people need to understand this as well, is that I'm really looking forward to Mikel Arteta having a season under his belt with fans back in the stadium. Because there's a lot of our games this year, Robbie, and I flip this on some people because I've seen them say Arteta would have been slaughtered inside the Emirates with some of our performances, blah, blah, blah. And I sit there and I think to myself, you know what? I can only think of one performance inside the Emirates where he would have got absolutely slaughtered because the performance was that dreadful, and that was Aston Villa.
Villa, yeah.
And I look at the other ones and I go...
Burnley as well. Burnley was bad.
Yeah, but what I mean, the reason why I'm not going to include Burnley here, is because I feel that with fans in the stadium, even with Granit Xhaka getting sent off, we wouldn't have lost that game. We would have been the 12th man. Do you remember the season before lockdown? We played Aston Villa at home. We went Maitland-Niles got sent off. In the first half, we went 2-1 down. And the fans just drove the team on and on. And we went and won the game 3-2. There's a little something extra that the fans give you when they're not there. You know what I mean? So I think some of our results at home this season may well not have happened. Crystal Palace at home, 0-0. I think with the fans there, we would have just drove the team on to grind that goal out somewhere. You know, so that's why I flip it on people when I say that, yeah, okay, I get your argument, but I also get the argument that what if fans are in the stadium and it actually changes a load of those results? Because we see now everyone struggled at home this season, bar Man City, but they're used to not playing with fans, so that's why they've got an advantage.
Well, listen, we come to the end of the podcast today, the All Guns Blazing Extra. Just quickly before you go, should get the job done. I mean, we can't afford to be complacent on it.
No.
Can't afford to be complacent on it, even though we got 3 away goals, but should get the job done.
We should do. I've seen a lot of people already focusing on Thursday, and I've seen some of the maddest team selections already.
Yeah,
I'm seeing
resting this and resting that. No.
People are like, take Tierney out, take Gabriel out, take Louise out, take Partey out, and Xhaka out, and I'm like,
for me, no chance. For me, I look at that game. I go, you go with a strong team, and if you're quite, let's just say, for instance, we went 2-0 up or something, and then you realise that it's virtually impossible for them. Then you could remember you can make 4 subs. So then you can take Tierney off. You can take this one off, that one off.
Exactly.
But we've got to get the job done. Remember the PSG game.
Isn't it? Is it not 5 subs?
It's 4 or 5 subs you can make still in Europe, isn't it?
I think it might be 5. I'm not sure.
So,
but it's 4 or 5,
so why start weak? You know what I mean? Start strong. Maybe you could take out a Gabriel and start a Mari or somebody like that, and Bellerin comes in maybe for Cedric, and I get that. But that team needs to be strong. I'll bring Aubameyang back in for that. Hopefully he'll be pumped. Strong team, get the job done. Then, if it's, as I said, if we look like we're out of sight, if we're not out of sight, we've got the artillery on the pitch. You've got to go with a strong team for me. I'm not in this resting players for a big game like that. We haven't won it yet. And I always remember that PSG game a couple of years ago against Barcelona where, they thought they were through and, they got knocked out. So we got to get the job done, but we should do. Then it's on to West Ham at the weekend. We're going to be doing a podcast on Friday where we're going to be focusing on the West Ham game and looking back at what happened against Olympiacos. But DT, thank you very much for coming on today. Of course, North London is red. That's all I can say.
Oozing blood.